Hey guys, what's up? It's Tricky here, and today we are unboxing and installing the Simube Magnetic paddle shifters and adapter for the Fanatec McLaren GT3 V2 wheel. I recommend watching the video in full before attempting this install yourself, and while you're at it, please like and subscribe. So that's just one last look at the rocker paddles, and into the unboxing we have the Club Sport magnetic paddle module there in its box, and the more important bit is the adapter itself, along with its paddles specific for the V2 McLaren GT3 wheel. Included are some stickers to sort of dress up the clutch analog paddles, and those are the cables that go through the wheel out to the adapter to connect these shifters to. So we're just taking a quick look at what's included in the Club Sport magnetic paddle module. You won't need those paddles, they're way too big, but you will need a bunch of those screws and the little standoffs in that pack. Let's just pack away these paddles and get on with the install. We're going to start with the rotary switches, so we just remove those, pry those off carefully, and then we'll need a 12mm or a 13mm socket. The socket should be enough on its own, you shouldn't need the full wrench. Though you can't see it, I'm holding them, unscrewing those little bolts. Underneath those bolts will be a retaining washer. They should come off easily enough. I'm just using a magnetic screwdriver here to make it a little bit easier to get hold of them, because they are recessed into the wheel a little way. Next we have the two-way toggle switches. They just have some protective rubber grommets over the top. They should be easy enough to pry off. And then you'll need a 8mm socket piece. That comes into focus, and these two should be easy enough to unscrew with just your fingers. Alright, these ones are a little bit tricky to get out, and there will be 3 parts. Yeah. So there is the nut itself, then a spiky little retaining ring, and then that flat, larger Q style ring. Now you'll need to remove the 10 T10 bolts we see here. Also note that you do not get the tool included in the pack for these, but you've probably got a T10 tool hanging around somewhere. So we'll just quickly speed this bit of the video up. Once that's done, you should be able to lift the plate off fairly easily. All of those buttons stay affixed to the plate, except these two. That is the pit button and the neutral button. Right, so once those are off, you need to remove these 2 Phillips head screws here, just at the bottom of the LCD display. Finicky little screws, so don't lose those. And then we need to remove all of these Phillips head screws affixed to the circuit board here. These are the screws that actually hold the circuit board to the wheel. They should come out easily enough. They're a little bit tougher than the previous T10s. And don't be worried if you get a little bit of plastic from the wheel coming out with them. That's pretty typical. Some of them do need a fair yank, but they should all come out pretty easily. And don't forget this one in the middle under that white ribbon. Once those have been removed, you should be able to lift up the circuit board. Don't worry about it detaching any of the ribbons, just leave those there and pry it over like that. And then you've got these 2 little Phillips head screws here. These might not necessarily need to be undone. I don't think you need to unscrew them all the way like I have. But just a little way to allow the pin at the top of the wheel to be removed. So turning the wheel upright, you can see this pin, and we just need to get some needle nose pliers and give that a good firm yank, and it should pop out. And then there's the rocker style shifters. They just fall out the back now, so sit those to the side, we won't be needing those again. And if you completely remove this little part here one moment ago, you'll need to reinstall it now. So the reverse of before, just screw that back in nice and tight. And now we pop out these magnetic parts, which can be a bit tedious, but persistence is key here. The back halves of them are a lot harder than the front halves. I'm using the Allen key here to try and help shift them, but they should come out easily enough. Once that's done, slide these two cables that came with the kit in through those holes where the magnets were, and just aim to have them sitting off to the side near the rubber part of the wheel. So now we can flip the circuit board back in. We need to pry off these two cables here, the blue and black cables on the left and right. Those are for the existing magnetic shifters. And then we need to carefully attach the two new cables that we just ran earlier. So they should sit in place of where the blue cables were. We're just tucking away the blue cables so they don't move around in the wheel. Check for any parts that fell out in that whole process. So I just had one of those rubber caps fall off, so I'm just attaching that back now. And now we're pretty much reassembling the circuit board to the wheel. So starting with those two screws on the LCD, just have a quick check that those cables are hanging out the back there, and we're going to continue reassembling the front fascia. So the reverse of before, we're screwing back in the circuit board screws, and don't forget that one underneath the white ribbon, front and center at the bottom. And maybe take a deep breath now as well. Right, so this bit can be a little bit tricky. So I used a bit of sticky tape to hold the P and the N buttons in place because they have a habit of just falling out and not wanting to go where they need to go. So check that the fascia is flush before rescrewing in these T10s, and screw them all down tight. We can now remove that sticky tape because those buttons are firm in place. Now's a good time to actually test that those buttons work and all the other buttons. Good. Moving on to the two-way rocker switches now, starting with this flat Q-shaped washer. Make sure the pointy side is down and move that around until it falls into place. There is a little bit of a groove in the threaded part of the toggle switch which aligns with those, and then comes the star-shaped washer and then the nut itself. Shove the rubber grommets back on top and test that they work. Now moving on to these rotary switches. You want to be particularly careful with the spiky washers on these. Make sure that the spike side is facing up, because if they're facing down, you could damage part of your wheel. Then tighten down the 3 nuts and refix the actual hats of those rotary switches. Test them out, make sure they're moving okay, and take a deep breath. We're now moving on to the install of the actual shifters. Yes, it's taken us this long to get this far. We need 4 of those bolts from that pack. And here we're just tightening down each of the shifters to the plate. No rocket science here, pretty easy. Use the Allen key to make sure those are firmly tightened. I do recommend you install the carbon fiber paddles now, not later, as well as the little standoffs. There should be a 5mm standoff in the bag there. Install those now, because doing them while they're on the wheel is a massive pain in the backside. So here we need to unscrew 4 of the QR bolts, just the top 4. You don't need to unscrew the bottom ones. We won't be using those 4 bolts that we removed. We'll be using the 4 longer bolts that came with the shifter. Just attaching the shifters here, make sure you've got it up the right way. You'll know pretty soon if you don't. Just making sure that all the cables aren't going to get snagged when we bolt this down. This can be a bit finicky, but you'll get there. Here I'm just comparing the longer bolts to those shorter bolts that we won't be using. So just ignore those 4 bolts at the bottom of the screen. I'm using the small washers from the existing bolts. Just finger tightening it down before I use the included Allen keys to fully tighten these. You can see I'm using the longer Allen key that was provided, and I'm finding it difficult between the QR2. So use the shorter Allen key that's just there at the top right of the screen. We're now just doing some cable management here. I wouldn't focus so much on the cable management right now until you've done this pin. Once the pin is in, then focus on the cable management, because that pin could get in the way of your previous attempt to do cable management. So this is just dressing it up a little bit, making sure there's not any crimps in the cables. And now we'll move on to what I recommended you do earlier, and that's installing the carbon fiber paddles. As you'll see, this is quite painful for me. I probably made this video a lot longer than it needed to be, but I left it in just to show how difficult it can be to install the paddles if it's fixed to the wheel already. We get there in the end though, and we're almost done. That's 1 carbon paddle installed. Doing the second now. I try a slightly different approach with this side. It was no easier. So once again, just attach these first before you attach the whole mod to the wheel. Right, we're pretty much done. Just give it a good test. Make sure each of them work. Reattach it to your wheelbase and go driving. You shouldn't need to recalibrate. They should just work straight out of the box. I wouldn't exactly say it's plug and play, but it's a worthwhile upgrade. Thanks for watching. You've done well to stay this far. Good luck with the install yourself. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks.